Hey guys, welcome to the Daily Word Bible Study, a plain and simple, book by book, chapter by chapter, verse by verse study through the entire Bible. We are in Psalms 19. Psalm 19. So let's get to it as we study the praises of God through the Psalms, or expressed through the Psalms. Now, I kind of took a little time talking about the very first verse. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the skies proclaim the work of his hands. And that's just, I kind of just took a little time to talk about that creation, the heavens, the universe, the solar system, declares God's handiwork. Okay. Um, so again, I talked about that in the last one. I am tempted to go even further in it because just to think about the creation, that there are so many, um, to me, signs that point to God. Here he's declaring through his servants, the prophets, that all of creation are his handiworks. So if you are an atheist or science slash atheist, and you say, "Well, I don't believe in God," okay, that's why I took the time to kind of just talk a little bit about it. Um, but so God declares He created all of this, and when you look at it, you say, "Well, there are details in creation," and that sticks out the most. That there are details in creation. Our five fingers, the way our body is created, the intestines, large intestines, small intestines. How does an explosion create this? How does whatever process, scientific process that you come up with, how do you explain that? And I said, the sexual organs, how do you explain that? The digestive system, respiratory system, circulatory system. Here is my thing here, and I can't help but to go through this again. So indulge. I'm gonna indulge. You tell me how nothing, an explosion. You start with an explosion. So you start with the explosion. So the very first explosion created all of the perfect order over a 14 billion year span. Even give it 120, give it 100 trillion years, right? Give it 100 trillion years, and then you tell me how this would come out. All of this, what you see, could come out. 120 trillion years, right? 200 trillion years. And then you have to come out that you start with an explosion, which the only explosion ever that created this, because every other explosion since then is always disorder, destruction, damage, chaos. Every single one, right? Every single one. So then you say, well, then if you say, and of course, there, in my opinion, logic is if you give it enough time, then this will form. Meaning what? Look at this body right here. Even if you go off to the stars and the galaxies, what example can you say, let's start with nothing and say, if you don't arrange it yourself, if you don't put it in, and if you start with again, the formation of what they would say, the stars. Now, let me say this too. Like I said, I'm kind of indulging myself right here, but I think it's worth to do so. You look at scientific documentaries, videos, or whatever. And and if you ever follow some of my other videos, you'll note that I always talk about the methodology of arranging an argument. Okay, scientists do the same. you think science is saying it's fact. Like, for example, that evolution is a fact. See the illusion that they're saying that. Now, I said scientists. So if you look at certain science, persons of science, accredited scientists, they don't say what their followers say. Now, the followers will say evolution is a fact. But the scientists themselves, again, just like any other apologetics, they will say, we think, might be, could be. Then you come back to this. They will say, well, if you just give it enough time, right? However, there's big gaps. So go back 14 billion years, the explosion happened. Then they say, well, cool down. And then you have to say, well, what sparked the first sun, star? What sparked that? Well, then you have to kind of explain, which they don't. Why would you have a gravitational force that causes rotation? Now, I readily admit I am in no way able to explain either of that. So why is it that the sun doesn't only have our solar system only has 9 planets, right? That's orbiting the sun. Can other planets, like if a planet was happen to be just kind of zippy doo-dah through the universe, get caught up in the planetational orbitation of the sun, and then start spinning around the sun? I don't know. See, I can't explain that. So, and then of course, so you start with that. And then this galaxy is kind of making its way around the vastness of the universe. So they are able to see this, because I haven't looked up in the stars, so I don't know how many. I cannot even understand. All I see is points of light. When I look up in the stars at night, I just see points of light. There are people that can look up and say, well, one is a star, another is a planet, another the moon, another the meteorite. I can't tell that by looking up. Some people can. Okay. Then you want to tell me that all of this happened because of an explosion over 14 billion years. I'm saying you tell me no matter how much time, like we hear sometimes in the news, a gas explosion exploded and actually destroyed an entire house. They didn't create one. So all of the processes of life, see, they cannot explain how it came together to form life on Earth as we know it. So the gravitational pull, the planets and everything else, right, that's orbiting the sun. And then you have the third planet, which is called Earth. Earth is the exact distance it needs to sustain life here. Further, we freeze. Closer, we burn up. So we're told, right? So then you come to this planet and you go, okay, well, so what's special about this planet? Other than its proximity to the sun. And then you look on this planet and you see all of this life, complex life. Now, they say 4 million years ago, I believe it is, this planet started forming life. Why? So if I take a match here and explode something, why would it produce the complex life? Right? So we have everything we need on this planet. So the planet evolved, right? So like now, look at the moon or look at Saturn or Jupiter. There's no life that could sustain there. That's a rock, we know. They call it a planet. but it doesn't sustain life. I always ask this question too. Why isn't there Jupiter life? Forget Earth life that's indigenous to Earth, but why, as we often refer to, Martian, like on Mars? Why isn't there Martian life? Life that's indigenous to Mars. Life that could withstand the atmosphere pressures, temperatures, and conditions of Mars. Our, us, right? We are fitted for life on Earth. Exactly. Which is a declaration of God's glory. He created this for here. He did not create us to live on Mars. That is why I would never go to Mars. I'm amazed. Right now, someone came up with the idea of sending people to Mars. And what was amazing, do you know how many people was lining up to sign up for the possibility of a one-way trip to Mars? There were some that even were willing to leave their families. Okay. But me, no, I'm happy here to stay here. But why isn't there life on Mars? Why isn't there indigenous life that look like, and while I'm poking at this, how come all the aliens always look like aliens? Well, look who's drawing them, first and foremost. That's the first thing, right? When you have uh, and that's kind of an interesting thought, and it's only a thought, right? That aliens, you can't draw them. Here, let me tell you why you can't draw aliens too ugly, because we won't be interested in them. I mean, there are different other movies that always show aliens because they show them the bad guys, but they're ugly. But aliens that are intelligent, well, how do you draw them if they don't look like humans? And why do these humans look like the way humans look? Because we're made in the image of God. We're made in the image and the likeness of God. We have an ideal of what God looks like because we're made in His image. Going to heaven should not be a problem with that. Understanding when we get to heaven what God is going to look like. It's going to be, of course, a gazillion times more in terms of majesty, but our form. Okay, but we think about the earth itself then, that the human that's fitted for earth, why did it come out this way? That this planet evolved perfectly for human life. Yet no other planet evolved for life that's suited for its planet. So like Pluto, the farthest planet, which we lost for a moment, right? Somebody said Pluto is not a planet, right? And then I guess it's now back a planet. So, but the extreme cold of Pluto. Well, why isn't there life forming that's, hey, that's fine for Pluto? That can eat dust, right? I don't know, right? If you were to form life. And if you say that Earth was one time barren, then why did life form? And then you got people with all kinds of speculations, right? Water floating through space and then boom, hit the planet. Okay, well, water's floating through the planet, hit Pluto. So water floated and then boom, it hit Pluto. Hit the Earth, and then give it some time. So we need some time, right? I think it's 4 billion. I said 4 million. Actually, I think the Earth is supposed to be 4 billion. The universe 14 billion. Well, so no matter how much time, water's floating through, bam, hits the Earth, and then all of a sudden it starts evolving. Okay, we can explain some rivers, we can explain some, plant, but why plant? And then you got, well, why is plant plant, and then all of a sudden, then how did mammal life come, right? Marine life. And then, of course, the billions of different kinds of life, right? Then, of course, like with Earth, we all have to have air now. But here's the question. Why? Why do we need air? Why couldn't it evolve just where it's okay, where we have air or not? Just like, then we needed gravity. So everything about life here that's designed for life to exist for us is already here. So the food, again, the air, the kind of gravity, the atmospheric pressure, right? 14 psi pressure that we need to stay on the planet, right? The evolution, I mean not evolution, but the orbit of the planet and then the orbit around the sun. All of this is perfect for life on Earth. Why didn't it form on any other planet? And the reason why, again, is the heavens declare the glory of God, and the skies proclaim the work of His hand. So and the reason why life is perfect here is because this is how God designed for life to exist, and why there is no other life anywhere else in the universe. Can't prove it. We don't see it. They are praying that there is some kind of life someplace that they can look, far away, and they could see far away life, right? Any kind of signs of life, any kind, a flicker of life. But this shows the motive of why they deny it. Plain and simple, the sinful nature. That's it, the sinful nature. They don't want to even say, well, at the very least, something created this. And yes, why didn't any other kind of life form on any other planet? Right? Why didn't it evolve? And then if you say that the just conditions are perfect for evolution, for the life to form on this planet, then you have to explain the kind of life. As I said, male and female. Why do I need them? Why do we need either? In other words, if you're forming, all of a sudden you form male, or you can say, let's say you form female, but then all of a sudden we needed to have two to produce another kind. We needed to have male genitalia, and then all of a sudden, oh, wait a minute, let's evolve female genitalia, or vice versa. And then that grows into the female side that says, let's evolve that it has to have a 9-month pregnancy. Well, my thing is, why? Why? And sinful man simply says, I just don't want to accept any of that. The heavens declare God's handiwork. That's why. And the way that and sometimes I know women will go, okay, thank you, God, for having the life grow in me and spit out between my legs. Okay, thank you for that. Yes. But it certainly kind of say, you have to go, well, and then watch this. So why do human females suffer? Okay, we won't get into that one. Well, sinful nature, sin, that's why. But anyway, the point is that you look at the male and female evolution. Why? Why 2 eyes instead of 1? Well, for that matter, why an eye at all? Right? Why do we have to have? And then, okay, we need food. So evolution says, well, you need food. Well, why the taste buds? That some food tastes good, right? Okay. Didn't mean to go this way, guys, but every now and then we get a chance to chat about this. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to BP, the Bible Perspective. Always, if you have a thought or comment, add it to the comment section below. All comments are welcome. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for me, please. Till next time, I'll see you then.